Have you ever wanted to have a prestigious TED Talk? Have you ever wanted to land on that stage with a big TEDx right behind you? Well, I just landed one and gave my first TED Talk last weekend, and I am sharing with you exactly how I got it in this video. For the best leadership tips, entrepreneurship advice, and subconscious success strategies to help you stand out fearlessly, build your empire, and crown yourself, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you hit the bell so that you are notified every Tuesday and Friday when a new video goes live. Hey there, I'm Kimberly Spencer, your certified high performance coach and founder of crownyourself.com, and I am coming to you fresh off of having a TED Talk. Literally, this was a dream of mine come true to be able to actually have a TED Talk. I've had TED on my vision board for the past 3 years, and just this past year, I decided that this was going to be the year, and I didn't know how it was going to happen because we're still in the middle of a freaking pandemic. And not every place in every state in Australia has live events yet. However, like I said in my TED Talk, you have the power to decide. And so, to decide means cutting down any other possibilities that it's not going to happen. So I just decided it was going to happen. And here is exactly how I got my TED Talk. Step number 1, I Googled it. So there I was on the interwebs looking up how do I get a TED Talk, and I just figured, why don't I look up TED Talks that are actually happening in my area? So currently I live in Queensland, Australia. What better place to live than for a company called Crown Yourself than Queensland, Australia? And it is a wonderful state here. And so being here, I started to look around for what TED Talks were happening in the state of Queensland. If you don't know about what's going on so much in Australia right now, traveling state to state really isn't the best choice to make at this moment. So I limited my search to looking at TED Talks that were being held within the state of Queensland. So step number 1, Google it. I went onto the TEDx website and just searched what TEDx events were happening. And so step number 2, I sent out a few emails. Now, I Googled the person I was going to email before I emailed them so that I could have and send out an email that actually had some form of personal connection to it. Because nobody likes an email that's just like, hey, you should have me on your TED Talk. I'm amazing. Because really, those types of emails, and I get a lot of those of like, hire me for your SEO, hire me for your marketing, here's all this. It's all about you. When really, if you can send out an email that connects to somebody else and what they're wanting to do and what they're wanting to put together and what their vision is, and that has some sort of personal touch, it can go a lot further. And so I found out that this amazing man, Clayton Blake, he was an artist and a sculptor, and he had done some sculptures for Burning Man that happens like every Californian's dream is to go to Burning Man. Well, at least it was mine. I still have yet to go. Anyway, so Burning Man, he had done some of the sculptures, and so we connected on that level, and I connected on the level that the topic of the TED Talks was possibilities. And for the past 4 years, since my son was born, I have said that I am a warrior for possibility. And so I just was honest, and I made some heartfelt connections and done from a little bit of research, and from that I got a response. And from that response, they checked me out and they made sure that, I was legit. And so step number 3 to booking a TED Talk is making sure that your website and your socials and every place that you are on accurately represents who you are, what you do, and that you can successfully deliver a TED Talk. Had I not had an optimized website that looks really good, or a YouTube channel or a podcast or a social media presence that said, hey, this girl has some level of social proof that she knows what she's talking about. Had I not had that, I probably wouldn't have been accepted. But fortunately, I have a great website, a great podcast, a great social presence, and so it shows congruence that I am who I say I am, and that I am successful at being able to successfully do what I say I can do. So I have the accurate social proof that shows that I'm not just like Joe Schmo looking for a TED Talk. And so once step number 3, and they had checked out all my socials, they'd checked me out, they'd seen I was who I said I was. Step number 4, trust. On the day, literally the day that I gave birth to my son, I gave birth to him in our bathtub and had a natural childbirth. And within about 16 hours, I was back on my computer and I just had this gut instinct to check my email. And I checked my email and I saw the email that I'd been waiting for, that they wanted to meet with me. And so I was super excited, super giddy. I didn't tell anyone that this was happening because I just wanted to hold this dream really close. And it took about 3 months for us to be able to find a time to connect, to meet. So by the time that we met, it was September 18th. And I know that because that was the anniversary of my parents. That would have been their 52nd anniversary. So I know that I had an angel upstairs looking out for me. And I just shared from that space of vulnerability and truth about what I'd always known my TED Talk would be on, which would be on becoming a warrior for possibility, and how growing up with my dad and some of the experiences that we'd had and that I dealt with his alcoholism and the effects and experiences that happened to me as a child, how that shaped my perspective for life and how that made me a fighter for greater possibility. And I just shared the truth, and I shared openly from my heart. I didn't know I was going to get it. I was just meeting with the organizers of the TEDx event literally 3 weeks before the event was going to be happening. And they asked me, they said, "Do you think you'll be ready in 3 weeks?" My initial reaction was like, yes, I was. And here's why. Because I had decided 3 years ago that I was having a TEDx talk. I had decided that I already had a folder of 3 topics that I would have spoken on given the topic of the TEDx event. It just so happened by the divine timing of the universe that one of my talks was on becoming a warrior for possibility, and the theme of their TEDx event happening in beautiful Currumbin in Queensland, Australia, was on possibilities. And so the talk that had been stirring in my soul, it wasn't fully outlined. I didn't fully have everything. But when I said yes to that experience that I did not feel 100% ready for, but I knew I could do it. When I said yes, I knew I would put my full intention, trust, focus into performing at my absolute best in this one TEDx event. The next 3 weeks after I said yes and signed that contract were completely dedicated to TEDx. I hired a coach. I formatted that speech. I had to rewrite for literally a week, honing and chipping away and chipping down to the talk that I was able to create. But it was because of that decision that I had made 3 years ago that I was going to have a TEDx event. And I just kept on preparing myself mentally, emotionally, and actually in the physical realm, in a Google folder that held all of my ideas of what I would talk about on this topic of becoming a warrior for possibility. And it was from that space that then 3 weeks later, I gave my first TEDx talk. And you can watch it right here. If you love this video, if it inspired you, if it ignited you, if it also made this whole TEDx speaking thing seem not so hard and actually pretty easy, then definitely hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. As always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your business, because your reign is now. And if you're looking to get even more visibility and get the practice of the hours of oratory in so that when you have your big TEDx opportunity, you feel ready and confident to seize it, then definitely get your booty on the waiting list for Communication Queens. So not only are you getting the practice of the skill set of speaking publicly by going on other people's podcasts, you are also turning that practice into profit using the Communication Queens strategies. So get your booty on the wait list. I will see you inside Communication Queens. Now, if you're looking to get even more visibility and practice so that when There we go. Step up, show up, stand out. So not only are you getting this, so not only,